Residents near Highway 15 in Sainte-Thérèse say they've had enough. Night after night, the sound of revving engines, backfires, and suspected street races is keeping them up and driving them mad. Despite a radar photo trap that's issued, get this, over 60,000 tickets last year, drivers are still speeding. Locals say police presence is nearly non-existent, and now frustrated homeowners are demanding action before tragedy strikes. Let's head over to André Durocher, who's Director of Community Relations and Road Safety over at CAA-Québec. He joins us on the line. André, welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Elias.
So from CAA-Québec's perspective, just how bad is this for Quebec drivers on the whole?
Well, it's always a concern because if these people are speeding and, particularly late at night, it could be dangerous, and anything that, represents a danger is a concern. One thing being said, I think at the moment, the citizens are doing what they should be doing. They're, demanding action, and, the police are there to serve the population, so the population's concern by ricochet becomes the concerns of the police. And it doesn't mean because there's not necessarily operations every night that there won't be certain operations. I know that ideally there should be a police officer behind every one of these street kids trying to speed up. But it's always a tough thing for kids. We were all young at some point. Those what I would call adrenaline junkies. There are places for that, and if people want to have that adrenaline rush, they could do it in places that are safe and closed and not in public. Because very often what we hear is that, oh, I'm speeding. It's my business. It's my concern. No, it's not, because there are other users on the road. This is why we call it the public way. It's everybody's road, and not everybody wants to speed up, and with the dangers that are associated with it.
So you're talking about private racetracks, right? When you talk about other outlets where people can put pedal to the metal, that would be private racetracks.
Yeah, because the phenomenon is not new. I remember back in the days when I was with the police department, there were these things in industrial areas where people would speed and race. They should not be doing that in the public way. Find some places, some private tracks, and go and get your adrenaline rush. So I think the citizens should keep on demanding for action. I know that in the past couple of years, we've all heard that police forces are struggling, with manpower. There's been a lot of concerns regarding firearms, street gangs, and everything. But I think in the summer, particularly at night, picture the scenario: you're coming home from, going for somebody's house for dinner, and you're going 100 kilometers an hour respecting speed limit, and somebody's bypassing you at 160. All it takes is one wrong maneuver, and it could be a tragedy.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you about these. There are the speed cameras, right, on this stretch of Highway 15. But if you get caught on a camera, not by a police officer, doing 180 or 200 kilometers in a 100 zone, what's the penalty if it's caught via camera and not with a cop?
The difference, it's the same as if in person. The only difference is there are no demerit points, because the ticket will be issued to the owner of the car. So, for example, I lend you my car and you go and you speed. If you decide not to pay the ticket, I'm the one who's going to have to be stuck with it because it's my license plate.
Gotcha. So, I mean, that's still, if you're doing 60, 80, 100 over, that's still a huge ticket, right? So why isn't there a deterrent there?
It's hard to tell. I know that some people, when they do it, they know there's going to be those the photo radars. They'll try to hide their plates. If they hide their plate, of course, that's another infraction. Yeah. And don't forget the speed radar, because very often we hear the saying, yeah, but they see it's advertised, so therefore they just slow down and then speed up after. Yes, that's true. However, one of the objectives of the speed radar, and I remember I was back at Road Safety when the first ones were put out there. The idea is to make you aware that you're speeding, because let's take, for example, you're passing somewhere, and like it can happen to any one of us, you're going a bit over the speed limit, and you get a ticket 2 months later, and you say, where the heck was I passing? Why did So we want it to be a deterrent. With that being said, sometimes there are those photo radars, and maybe a kilometer later, you may have real police officers making an operation.
So what do you think could be done to up enforcement here, aside from more police officers on the road? Is there anything that can be done enforcement-wise?
I like to be optimistic and say that we could, there's a lot of measures we can do. Just talking about it is one way, but I'm realistic also. There will always be some people who will never understand common sense. Mm-hmm. And so, therefore, this is why you'll have operations, and there will always, unfortunately, be people that are not respecting the laws or behaving properly in public. This is why I had a job as a police officer for 40 years. If everybody would abide by the laws, there would be no police.
We're with André Durocher, who is Director of Community Relations now, Road Safety for CAA-Québec. Has anything changed, though, André, on a couple of fronts? Either about car racing culture, street racing culture? Has anything changed there? Or with the cars themselves? Like, I'm trying to think, is it easier and cheaper now to soup up a car? Anything change on that front which has made the problem worse?
I think the major change is with regards to social media. I mean, we were all young once. We've all done some crazy things, but we would not have the urge to go and put it on the web. I mean, you take a look on YouTube. You've got videos of kids that are they're going to pass in front of a police car and speed up by it just to start a car chase. I mean, that is totally ridiculous, to get so many likes on their thing. It's totally irresponsible. That's the thing. I think the social media phenomenon is really what has changed as compared to what it was maybe 30 or 40 years ago.
Is there anything that could be done with Highway 15 itself? And I'll be very honest, Andre. There have been times where I take Highway 15, I get on and go and head north, and I'm driving there, and everyone around me, I say, what is wrong with these people? These people drive like maniacs, just in general. So I'm wondering if there's anything can be done about that specific stretch of Highway 15 to make people lower their speed.
I would say it's not exclusive, unfortunately, to Highway 15. And I know which part you're referring to around Sainte-Thérèse there, because it's wide, it's flat, but there's many roads like that in Quebec. And unfortunately, people have to remember, when if you do a bit of math and you take a look at depending how many kilometers you have to do, and if you go over the speed limit, for example, going over the speed limit by 20 kilometers on a 20-kilometer distance, you're only saving a couple, not even a minute or two. That's about it. Mm-hmm. So It really, when it comes down to it, is being responsible and respecting others on the road. It doesn't belong to you. It's a public road.
So, Andre, would you like to see, though, a blitz, a crackdown, some sort of renewed police presence where they take it very seriously? Because, I'm thinking if you're pulling over people and you're able to give them tickets that are, $2,000, $3,000 tickets for this type of for this type of use of the road, it would pay off. I mean, you think about bringing in revenue. That's a way to do it. Ding people not for going 10 over the speed limit, but for going 100 over the limit.
Well, I'm sure there will be operations, but unfortunately, they're short-lived. They have to be every once in a while. One of the things I always said is there's people that will always respect the law, but there's also people that will respect the law because they're afraid of being caught. Mm-hmm. So you have to have that fear present. So every once in a while, you have to have those operations. And I'm sure, because we've talked a lot about it over the last couple of days, and I'm sure the people at the Sainte-Thérèse Québec and other police departments are listening, and I'm sure that there will be some operations eventually. When, it's hard to say, and that's the best thing, not to know when, and this way those people will get caught.
Andre, anything I missed? Anything we should have talked about here?
It's beautiful. It's sunny. A lot of people will want to go on vacation. Remember to be on your mind should not be on vacation until you've actually arrived at your destination.
Andre, we're going to leave it there. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.
Always a pleasure, Elias.
That's André Durocher, Director of Community Relations and Road Safety for CAA-Québec.